What up, Dow? College basketball hangout. Here I am today. I got my man Don Ricci backstage. Just a little quick touch of the today's card. You know, college basketball. Just here to keep the hangout going. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Tease, man. He's getting better. You guys should be seeing Tease back soon for all my Tease fans out there, because my boy Tease got fans. That boy is hot. But let me bring in our guy Don Ricci, man. Good morning from west to east. How you doing today, Don?
Good morning, brother. How are you, man? How you doing?
Having a good time already, huh?
I'm just laughing. That's all. Hey, so did you know that? I love starting off shows on something so friggin' random. So this morning I'm up early. I'm capping. I got the TV on. I got the History Channel on. They're talking about how betting, drugs, what the hell was it? Betting, drugs, and tobacco changed this country. And they started out in the late 1800s. And they went through like the tobacco process and how it started out, and and this whole the whole thing. And the the one thing that stuck in my mind was, the name of it was sex, drugs, and tobacco. Right? The first condoms that were made were you had to buy like these you had to put them on you, cut them to your size, and then like burn the ends of it to close it. Those are the first. No wonder everybody was having babies back then. I was just laughing. That stuck in my head. But it's just so funny, man, how this country with just illegal things, man, has just prospered. It's just so funny, man.
Absolutely.
And the tobacco was just a thing where it was very local. Every local, they had these big marketplaces like they have now with the weed, where you went with your tobacco and you sold it to dealers, and it was all local. There was no manufacturing. There was no, so it was just pretty interesting. Then they showed you how Anheuser-Busch started selling beer, and beer started becoming such a big thing across the country. And they realized when they sent their first train load out to California from St. Louis that it all spoiled because it wasn't kept cold. And they didn't realize that. So Anheuser-Busch were the first ones to develop. It cost them $1 million. It was the late 1800s or the early 1900s. Cost them $1 million, and they didn't know if it was going to work. But they're the first ones to come up with refrigerated rail cars.
Wow.
That's pretty interesting, right?
Yeah.
They did it at first with ice. They had a machine that would make ice, but every 250 miles they had to fill it back up with water. So it was taking a long time. So they progressed from doing that into making refrigerated cars. Anyway, just so weird, just some weird stuff. But our country is built on illegalities. So don't ever.
For sure.
And they said, the worst thing physically for you was the thing that's been legal the whole time, and that's alcohol.
That's crazy, but at one point alcohol was banned too, remember? And
it got so bad. Yeah, they covered that. It got so bad, when it first got popular, and all of a sudden people started, the beer became popular, and alcohol, and making moonshine, and people were getting drunk left and right in this country. They were like it was like a mass epidemic almost. People not going to work. This whole thing. All the immigrants coming in 1 year in 1920, we had 10 million people come in a 1 year span in the early 1920s. So it just goes to show you, but by what you brought up, yes, they, people were drinking so much they had to stop it. And they tried to stop it, and then it evolved into what it evolved into, and then, that's it. But that's pretty funny, right? Don Play.
That is.
Don Play.
In the building.
Don, man, you lost. I seen your tweet this morning. I seen your message to me this morning. Don lost a fucking double overtime bet.
Ooh,
double overtime. Don, there's no way to. That's you know that you've been. I mean, as long as you've been doing this shit, that just comes. I had Xavier under 166. You know what the final score was, right? 167. So there
Oh
you
yeah.
go. But you lost. He lost a double overtime. They hurt, man. They hurt. I'd rather just lose a bet outright. Like I did with Purdue. I got crushed, and that was it. That's okay. But when you lose those, I had 166 and a half, and the final was 167. So I feel you, Donnie. But today's a new day, my brother. I know Portland. I know, bro. I know Portland double. I know, Don. I hear you. But like we like this, like we do, man. That shit's out the window, out the door. I went
Absolutely.
6-4 yesterday. One game was a half a point. I could have won. The other one, Purdue, I lost a double. I lost the Purdue game and the under in that game. So, two games can make your whole day into a great day, or you know how it goes. This is the game we
Well,
choose. That's why I take it serious. It's not a game. It's not a hobby. You lose money if it's a hobby. You got to take it serious sooner or later. Somewhat.
yeah.
Somewhat.
Yesterday,
Even if you
yesterday
gamble
was
once a month, you got to take it serious when you do gamble. That's all. Go ahead, buddy.
yesterday was it was a real cappers day for me. Chin up, chest out, Wake Forest. First half, -1.5. Felt a half a point short right there on Wake Forest yesterday with
Unbelievable.
Notre Dame,
And then they win the full game
and
by
they
a lot.
blow them out.
They blow them out. I hate
Blow
Bird
them
fans.
out. And that was one we talked about on the show yesterday. And then my other 3-team money line parlay looked so sweet yesterday, as I had Cincinnati starting it off, and
They
then I
won
had
all through the game. Cincinnati was a winner from
all
start
the
to
way
finish.
through, start to
Great
finish.
pick. Start to finish. Great pick.
And then I did have Wake Forest for the full game as well. And then I had Drexel, who was up by 14 at the half, only to lose the game by 1. And that killed off my parlay of the day yesterday. But then we came back and did a second show. If you guys remember, Don was with us. And we weaned off of Southern Miss. I had an open par with Southern Miss. I filled that open par with West Virginia on the money line. And I also had Fullerton, Cal State Fullerton,
Right.
something that I capped up on the show.
Yes.
And the Fullerton worked out for me first half.
Yes, it did.
They cashed. And then I had another parlay to trail that one, leading with Fullerton, that parlayed over into San Jose State first half. So I won that one as well. So I ended up with a positive day yesterday after getting beat on the chest early.
Yeah.
And I'm ready for today.
Yeah, good, man. Yeah, I squeaked out a little bit of money. I mean, I went 6-4. I mean, I won less than 1 unit, but at least I didn't lose, right? It could have been a disaster, especially when you're betting 10 games. But I kept on adding. But anyhow, today's Sunday. There's not many games. There's not many great games, but there's a couple games that after we talked this morning that I kind of dove into, and I kind of ended up liking a little bit more. So we could go over some if you want. There's a couple of early games at 12 o'clock. I find this LaSalle St. Joe's game pretty interesting to start the day off. St. Joe's beat LaSalle last time by 15, 20 points. They blew them out. By 12 points. They beat them by 12 points, and they should have beat them by 20 points because they shot like 50% from the three-point line, St. Joe's, which hardly happens. I think they were like 11 to 22 or something like that. And LaSalle had a terrible day at the three-point. They only shot 22%. But when I looking at the games, so first of all, this is a revenge game. I kind of like LaSalle with the points. It's a little bit of a revenge spot for LaSalle, even though they're on the road. You know what? In these conference games and stuff like that, the road thing I don't think really means that much. They play just like a division in baseball. They play each other like the Phillies and the Mets. It don't matter if they're in Citi Field or in Philly. They play each other so many damn times throughout the year. Or the Yankees and the Orioles. The Orioles are terrible. They still beat up the Yankees a lot of times. So, the conference thing, the home court thing, it means a lot in basketball in some stadiums in some places. But like Iowa State hasn't lost a game in they have like a 70% win rate at home. There's all crazy spots. But this game, I have a feeling LaSalle might be a good bet with the points. If you look at the game, they're pretty even matched on a lot of things. Pretty much they're pretty even. These two teams. LaSalle's going through a rebuilding age, and they started off. They started off pretty slow, but they seem to be getting playing a little bit better and a little bit better. Just have a feeling that they might this 6.5 points might be too much. So that's a game I'm looking at. I didn't put one bet in yet, to tell you the truth. That's why I came on. I was telling you before, I might not even, but I figured we could talk of some games and I could get a couple plays in. So that was my theory. But LaSalle, I kind of like. I don't know if anybody was looking at it. Don, I don't know if you looked at anything today, but that's one game that
It's a
that struck me.
it's a
Um,
big
so
revenge factor in that game. They just played
yes,
on the 16th, and
yeah,
St. Joe's beat them, covered by 13 and a half. So
they should
they
have won
went
by 20
under.
though. They should
Uh,
have won by 20, 25. They just crushed them.
what I really liked in this game right here is the under, because in the history of the matchup of these two, and even in that blowout victory, all these games fell under
Uh huh.
the total.
What,
But these
what do
are
you got?
not two big
142.
under teams. Yeah,
What do you got?
this
142.
140,
Yeah.
141 and a half right here. I'm
Okay.
looking on covers.
All
But
right.
could be a
Let's
big
go to covers.
possibility that it falls under on this one right here. The last few games that LaSalle won, they had to play defense to win, holding George Washington to 64,
Right.
Roliden just to 70 points. So they understand that they got to play defense to be able to win. They're on the road. If they pack in a little defense, we could definitely cut that number short. Nothing looks amazing about the offenses on either team. LaSalle's offense is ranked 261. St. Joe's offense is ranked 165.
Right.
But
Right. Right.
neither of the two play much defense. But it could be one of those games where they just lock up for a minute and we get an under
Yeah.
right here. But I passed on the game though. But I feel you with LaSalle. The six and
Yeah.
a half is a reach. I believe.
Yeah. I think it might be. Yesterday
It's
we
probably a
talked
little
about it.
recency biases from the last game. So
That's where my head was at. And if when we looking at the numbers and the dominance that St. Joe's had in that particular game, like I said, you would think they would have won. If you read those numbers without knowing the final score, you would probably think they won by more than 12. So or
yeah.
13, whatever the hell they won. So anyhow, um,
Well, let me jump on.
one thing I did mention to you before was on yesterday's card. All those big double digit dogs, they all covered. All
Mhm.
those big numbers, man. All those Big East games that we were talking about that we thought that the numbers were kind of big. The dogs covered most of them. That's
Well,
so. It's just you know.
that has a lot to do with the books. The books are not blind. The books lead us to where we are. It's just we always fight it to beat the books, and sometimes they just telling you that this team's gonna beat the hell out of this team, or
Yes, sir.
it's already written in the line. That's why you got to be able to read. You got to be able to read the whole matchup and the line, because it's gonna tell you the story of the book, and then you can decide if the book is right or wrong, because these are 50-50 bets that we're making right here. It's you against the book, right or wrong. So you kind of like critiquing their work. That's how I look at it sometimes. I'm like the teacher, and I'm critiquing the students' work with the book, and I'm trying to find where they made mistakes, and that's where we get them at. But let me jump into my first pick
Go ahead.
for today. Penn State first half. This is one I looked at a lot of games this
Penn
morning.
State or Ohio State?
It's Penn
Penn
State.
State, Nebraska. Okay, I got you.
Yeah, it's Penn
Yeah,
State.
Penn State, Nebraska.
Yeah, this is one under my ATS look right here. Nebraska, horrible ATS, 7-16 ATS. They're only 7-3 at home. Although Penn State is 1-5 on the road, I'm jumping on them early. Reason being, for one, if you read the line, they already have Penn State as the road favorite by 4.5. So that shows a little bit of proof in the pudding. And then they don't really expect Nebraska to have the winning edge in the game because of the line. The line is 130. I mean, the total is 136 and a half. And Nebraska is 6-16 to the under. If Nebraska was supposed to in any way win, then that number would have come down some more to adjust that they're going to have to play defense in order to win right there. So I looked at that as the books telling me that Penn State definitely has 2 feet in the game right here.
It's a good
And
play. Good.
go
I
for it.
like it. Yeah, I
And
like it.
and
I
then in
actually
the
the under doesn't even a bad play either, man. Nebraska, you're right about Nebraska with their unders and stuff. They don't score a lot of points. They turnover percentage too, man. 17.3% turnover. That's a lot of turnovers, man. 17, almost
yeah
18% of your you know of your things are opposed to 12% for Penn State. That's a pretty big difference, you know.
Yeah. And,
Um,
and and then a lot of people ask me
Go
like,
ahead.
why do you choose to take the first half or well, in this particular game right here, Penn State is averaging 36.6 points in the first half and only 35.3 points in the second half. So that's letting you know right now that they're a first half team and they're on the road going into Nebraska. They're going to be in attack mode from the beginning. And we getting that at minus 2.5 right there, which is a bit risky because the game should be pretty close. But I think Penn State it just overwhelms them in the first half and gets past that number early and should cover full game with the Nebraska team. The only bright side that I see for Nebraska is that that they are at home and in college it's a little different because the home crowd and how many people there. These young kids are turned on by the lights, the cameras, and it all plays, its part. But in
It
professional
happened
sports, it
yesterday.
doesn't matter as much. You know
It
what I'm
happened
saying? But
yesterday, man. Indiana game, the Indiana Purdue game, 100% that crowd was the extra man. That crowd in Indiana was on fire. The
yeah,
coach of Penn State said they haven't hit a crowd. I mean, the coach of Purdue said they have not hit a crowd like that all season long. He was a little bit surprised, and the team was a little bit surprised about that. And Indiana sure played well. And yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So
Hey, all it takes
it
is
works.
free
But again,
beers.
outside the conference, right? Today, Penn State, Nebraska, that's outside the conference. So you're right. That home field with Nebraska will definitely mean more because they're not in the same conference. Correct?
No,
Yeah,
Penn
no, they're
State
not in the same
and
conference.
Nebraska's both in the Big Ten.
Oh, they all both. Penn State is in the Big Ten. That's right. Okay.
Yeah, they both in the
Well,
Big.
let's see. But it is a little bit of a travel. There is a thing about these travel spots. But anyhow, I like the bet. I like the bet. I kind of even think the under might even be a play. But I like your look. I like your look
Nah,
for
you
sure.
you got another play, or you want me to go to my next play?
Now you can go to your next play. I want to
Okay,
ask
my
you something
next
about the
play.
first halves too. But go ahead.
Oh, go for it. Oh, this one's
No,
the first
I
half.
was just was wondering like my theory on the first halves is that I just feel like I have to be too right, too on to hit a first half. I got no leeway, which I got no leeway. You have to be spot on when you're playing these halves,
Yeah.
and maybe it's the
So
way. Everybody caps different too. The way I cap it just doesn't work out that way.
yeah.
Someone might cap they have a better field. For that kind of thing. Just for me, it's a little bit tough. That's why I don't take too many first halves. But I get what you're saying.
Hey, it's
Well,
like it's like
yeah,
math, right? Math, you have to be able to do the problem backwards and forwards, for it to
right.
equate right. And the same thing you said, if you say it backwards, is the same thing because you said like you feel like you have to be too right in the first half. You know what I'm
Uh huh.
saying? But at the same time, how many times are you so right in the first half and then the
And
game
wrong.
goes the other way in the second half?
Right.
So it's kind of like
That's
it
why.
balances out the
That's
theory.
why it's a
It's all a
game.
matter of capital.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's why there's no foolproof way to win these shit, man. Like I said, if there was, we'd all be rich. There's so
yeah,
many variables every time, and people
yeah.
that just discount the luck factor and discount like situational things, and a lot of guys just are all about the math and the analytics and the numbers. And I'll there's no way that tells the whole story. Like, because if it did, we'd all be rich, right, Nasty?
Yeah. That's and I go through this with Noli
Go
a lot
ahead.
of times, right? Because Noli's the big under guy, and
Right.
I'll be like Noli,
I don't
because I
understand
have
it.
I have the theory of both. Like if you could be
Right.
so one way, if you are so much on the under and you won't take the under in the game, then the obvious answer is the over, right?
Yeah, that's
But
my point. He won't
But I
take it
tried
though.
that. I tried that because the reason he said he doesn't try that, and I understand now from experimenting with it, is that it just knocks you off your game. Like
Yes.
if you're seeking, X, Y, and Z, and you go in there, and you start peeking at W and R, then it takes you off of X, Y, and Z. So if you have, it's a part of being disciplined, staying focused to how you cap, and it helps in the long run because now you're not capping in the game ever for over. So it makes it simple when you go through, your evaluation. You're like, I'm only looking for this, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? And then sometimes you look at the number and the books are thinking the same thing you thinking. The line is too tight and it's a pass. So
Right.
yeah, it's a crazy
Yeah.
things
No,
out
I
there,
got you.
man.
I got you. I know.
But let me jump to this
Go
other
ahead,
one.
buddy.
I didn't want to hold the people too long today,
No one's
but
holding on. You always say that. No one has anywhere to go, bro. Everybody wants to talk about
everybody
games.
wants to
They
talk
want to
about
be get. They want to
it.
dive into every game. They want to make money. They ain't got nothing else to do but to make money. You got to get that in
We
your
got our
head.
guy Nasty Nate in the house too, and
Nasty
Don
had a nice
Play.
big 5 unit win on Indiana, man. Good job. Good job by
Bananas
you.
and
Good job.
Grapes and Sharif Tanker came and joined us as well. And we got 8,000 people in the chat right now. But my next play
Go ahead,
is this
buddy.
Northwestern team. So this Northwestern team, this one has a lot to do with like you talked about yesterday, Dom, a team that you watched and had a look on. So
Right.
I watched
Good team.
Northwestern in that last game versus Michigan,
Yeah.
and they lost two in a row. They lost to Iowa, they lost to Michigan after they were on a 3-game winning streak. So this team right here has showed a lot of sparks around the league this year. They're a much better team than last year, but they're losing to some quality opponents and they're beating some of the opponents that they need to beat. Now this Wisconsin team is a more along their level. They're 13-8, for the year, but they're 9-12 ATS. And this Northwestern team is coming off of 2 losses. They're a strong team going into this game. They are going to Wisconsin. That is, extra, but they're going in here. And what I talked about in the other game, what I was just explaining, that it reflects in the line and reading the line. The total is 125.5 in this game. Now, if you look at the over and under, Northwestern is 10-12 to the under, and Wisconsin is 11-10 to the
Yeah.
over. So if Wisconsin is a 3.5 favorite and they favor to the over, why is the total favored to the under? Because the books know, and we all know, that Northwestern is going to have a great effect in this game, and their defense is pretty good, and it's going to take advantage of Wisconsin at some point. So I'm looking to jump on it early on the fact that Northwestern. Let me see right here. Northwestern is scoring 32 points in the first half, 36 points in the second half. Wisconsin defense is holding teams to 27.8 points in the first half and 30 points in the second half.
That's why
Well,
they. Yeah. Go ahead.
Wisconsin is only scoring 29 points in the first half, and Northwestern is holding teams to 29 points in the first half. So Northwestern defense and the fact that they score a solid 32 leads me to believe that they can cover this 1.5. They're on the road. They have to attack this team. They have the defensive advantage in this game, and they should pull it off in the first half minus a point and a half.
That 11-10 over record with Wisconsin is a little misleading because all the Wisconsin games are these low totals in the 120s. Every game, they're always in these low totals. So they go over. They're not going over by much. They're still not a high scoring team. I mean, they still only score 63 points or so a game. Um, so, or they let up around 63 points a game and score about 65 points a game. But they are in a lot of low scoring games, Wisconsin, so that 11-10 could be a little bit misleading. But
Yeah.
I would definitely take Northwestern over them. D Mills got +2 on Northwestern, so he did bet the game the first half +2.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get it. I get it. Chris Brady in the house. What's up, Chris? How you doing, brother? Good to see you, man. Good to see
And
you.
then my last play is my parlay for the day.
You put these plays in
Um,
already, bud? You put them in?
yeah, I put these
You
in already. These
okay.
are these are already locked in. So this is my parlay for today. I didn't see much. This one's kind of low. It's only plus 110. A little rich factor in there, but I like Sienna. This was a game that dropped from it was an 8 point favorite. Now they're at 5.5. I just
Let
want
it
to hit a
drop.
money. I just want to hit a money line, and I got Wichita State to hit a money line as well. And then I had to add something to get it over to the plus side of things. So I had a Houston in this revenge game against Temple. So they got beat last time by Temple. Temple,
Yeah, they
I
did.
kind of want to take Temple again though. They give them like 11 points, but
They
at the
give him
same
11
time,
points. Yeah, they are. That's the game I'm looking at too. But
yeah,
I'm looking at the team total, and I don't even think you could add that into a money line anyhow. But minus
no.
800, Jesus Christ!
Yeah, minus 800. But
I don't.
I was already at like minus
No, I
110.
got you.
So I had to get it over. So I just tossed that one in there. Sometimes that's the one that kick you in the ass too, right?
Yep.
The
Yeah.
big,
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. If one's
yeah,
gonna lose, it's gonna be the biggest favorite.
yeah.
If
If
one's gonna
anybody's
fuck
gonna
you, yeah.
shouldn't even put it on there in the first place, but they on there anyway.
All you guys could attest to that, right? Right, Chris? You could attest to that. If one game's gonna fuck you, it's the one that you think is the easiest game on the board.
I'm
That's for
playing saying
sure.
he loves Wichita money line today. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
Wichita minus the points too. Wichita was the one I actually led this parlay with. I led with Wichita, and then I kind of seen Sienna. I had looked past the Sienna game, and then I went back to it. I seen the drop in the line, and I had already had my mind made up at how I seen the game, and I was like, if you drop them from 8.5 to 5.5, that means they're gonna win. It's just a matter by who's in the chat? He's
What up, Tease?
alive. Shout
He's
out to Tease in the
alive.
chat.
What up,
He's
Tease?
going first half. Houston minus 6.5. That makes great sense because Houston's been great in the first half. In this revenge game against Temple, maybe they should be pissed off and start off fast as well. That's a great look, Tease. I might add that one just
Yeah.
to add something right there. And I like that right there too. But that's where I'm at with today. Jay Peasy says he has Sienna, Wichita, Seton Hall. I like all of those, man. I like all of those. You know what? I should have put Seton Hall instead of Houston because I was getting way better line than that Houston. I would have got more out of that, but I don't know. I'm just trying to slam dunk a play on a Sunday. All these games are going to be over by 7 o'clock my time. So I'm just trying to slam dunk something. Got a
Yeah,
couple
without a
solid
doubt.
plays out there, and we're gonna have fun. That's all. That's all we're
Yep.
gonna have fun.
Yep.
Anything
Yep.
else?
Yep.
Any
Yep.
more
Yep.
picks for
Yep.
you?
I didn't put in any plays yet, but I do have a couple games I'm looking at. One is Ryder. One is Ohio State. And let me check out this. I'm debating on taking this Houston team total over 71. That's what I have a feeling they're gonna come out on fire. This team. I like that team total. The points a little bit too high for me. I don't take point spreads over 8 9 points. Really, either way, I don't take them. I don't like taking point spreads that high. Um, but those are really my leans. I'm thinking, a couple more factors I'm looking at. But I would say I'm definitely going to put in. I'm going to just put it in right now. I'm going to take a shot with LaSalle plus 6.5. That's the first game I'm going to take, and it's locked in -110. Yeah, -110. Um, this
Let me see
Seton
if I
Hall
could.
DePaul game is pretty. That's an interesting game, Seton Hall DePaul. That is an
Let's see if I
interesting
can
game.
talk you into this play with Wichita State, Dom. So
Yeah, I
this
didn't get
play
to
on
that
Wichita
yet.
State, it's a fade on Tulsa more likely. Tulsa
Uh-huh.
is 3-16-2 ATS. These guys have trouble winning, period. And they're 5-16 for the year. They have the lowest cover rate in college basketball. And they're playing the Wichita State team. They're at home and they're giving up 5.5. that's a gift for a money line play. Anybody playing the money line play, this got to go in there. I don't see how Wichita State could lose this one. Wichita State is a 500 team, 11-11. They're 11-10-1 ATS. They're 4-3 on the road, and they're playing Tulsa, who is 4-6 at their own house. So there's going to be no home court advantage, all basketball in this one. And I think Wichita State has a great chance of covering that line and winning the 4-minute line play.
See how they've done on the.
Did I convince you? I guess not.
See how they played it on the road there. They played Kansas State, San Francisco, and Grand Canyon. Their last three. They lost to Kansas State, which makes sense. They lost to San Francisco, which was a bad beat. And wow, Grand Canyon game was only 55-43. Team don't score too many points on the road. 55, 67, and 55 last couple times. Tulsa at home. Last game lost against Memphis 80-68. Beat Tulane 81-79. Wow, they score a lot of points at home. Lost to Methodist 79-76. And they lost to Temple 76-72 at home. So yeah, I mean, Wichita looks like it could be the right play. That game's on when? 3:00. It's on my time. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'll take a look at it. I don't know. We'll see. My boys are playing in Fordham today. Fordham's playing on the road against Richmond, but Richmond's a tough team. I'm not going to take Fordham today, but I'll be.
That's a back-to-back for them too.
Rooting my boy on. Who's that? Fordham.
Yeah.
Did Fordham play? No, they didn't play yesterday. They played the night before, right? They won. They won against. Oh no, that was Thursday. They won against St. Louis. That was a couple days ago. That's right.
Oh, okay.
That was a couple days ago. I'm not sure if they played last night. It was so many goddamn games yesterday. So the DePaul Seton Hall. Seton Hall's favored by 10. Now, like I was saying yesterday about that, a lot of those double-digit dogs covered yesterday. Pretty interesting. Let's take a look at this. DePaul.
Yeah, even my Villanova pick that I talked myself out of yesterday and didn't take that shit. Remember, they covered. I started talking about they didn't want to lose that bad on Saturday, and everything I said made sense at the end. But I doubted myself, thinking Creighton at home could have been the bad spot where they could have covered. But the game played out. It played out exactly how I thought it was going to play out.
Seton Hall beat DePaul at DePaul January 14th, 71-67. That's the only time they played this year. Last year they played twice, but I don't care what happened last year. I know a lot of people talk about teams from last year and stuff. I don't, that's for sure. Injuries, and not many injuries. Like I said this morning to you, Sunday's a tough day. I'm only looking to take one or two plays, so that's why I'm so hesitant today, not as I usually am. Looking to fire. So far, the only game I put in was the one I mentioned, and yeah, so far that's what I did.
Shout out to the chat, man, and I hope they seen how fast I rolled that joint up. I think I had record speed right there.
Yeah.
Wave
that I could win. I could win a contest of rolling, that's for sure. Especially rolling without. I drove a truck so many years going back and forth to Florida. I could drive on my knees and roll.
Hey, okay. Look, we're gonna have a show. We're gonna have a show on Friday. On Friday, we're gonna bring back the lounge on Friday, and on Friday we're gonna put it to the test. Who rolls the fastest joint? You can have it already broken down. You got a shoulder paper like this. Go, and we're gonna see who wins the fastest.
Was it what it looks like at the end? It counts too, right?
Yeah, it has to show some, because it can't be looking like a jagged edge.
No, it gotta look like a cigarette, man. Yeah, that's how mine are. Mine look like cigarettes.
Yeah.
Mine are perfectly rolled like cigarettes. But you rolling one of those nice sweet leaves, aren't you?
Yeah, of course. Got one of these nice sweet leaves right here.
I just have a old school Easy Wider Light in my hand right now.
Wider Light.
And there's There's the sweet leaf. Tease, you're losing in that one. You want in, you're gonna have to put up money. Nah, I'm only teasing. I could get him now that he's not 100%, so we can get him now.
we can draw in some cappers if we get enough people playing. We can get a total.
Maybe get Dutch in there.
Some total guys in there.
Yeah, we gotta get Dutch in there. Get a couple of the hardcore pot smokers. Tease, tell us if you have any feelings on this Ryder game. Don Play likes Ryder money line. I like Ryder myself today. I didn't play it yet, like I said, but if you have any thoughts on that, anybody have any thoughts on the? Nah, Jobs are punk ass papers, man. Jobs are those. That's what they roll in like Philly and Delaware.
In prison,
man.
that's what they roll in prison. You can get buglers and Jobs.
Zigzags. The old zigzags. Holy shit, that's funny, man. That's what I got for Christmas from my brother-in-law, a box of Easy Water Lights.
Wow.
I was complaining that the stores don't have them, and he bought me a whole box because they've been harder to get. And the guy in the candy store that I go to play my lotto, he said, I'm like, where's the papers, man? Because I always go and buy them there. And he's like, I'm having a hard time getting them. So, and I noticed there was a couple fake Easy Water Lights out. They had the Easy Water Light, package, but the papers weren't. They were like fucking bootlegs. Like everything else in this world, there's a bootleg on anything. But there's no bootleg on Who-Bangin.
Ain't no bootlegs around
That's one
here.
thing.
It's all live, direct.
Direct.
Live and direct.
But anyhow, So my only leans today is Ohio State right now and Houston team total, and that's kind of where I'm looking, where my head is at today, and that's it. That's really where my head is at.
Special announcement to the chat and everybody that's watching. XFL is coming up, I believe, February 18th. And I don't know. I did pretty good. I was so bored in the pandemic that I took a shot at XFL. It's a smaller market. I mean, only 10 teams. You can learn them real fast.
Sure.
And
anybody
want to jump in, and we ain't asking you to come in and be the best capper. Just jump in and have some fun, learn it with us. Let's have some good times doing some XFL. It'll be probably the only football we get after the Super Bowl. So any cappers out there want to do XFL, hit me up in the DM, man. We're gonna be doing some XFL.
I'm out of that one. Too many important things coming up. Hockey playoffs, basketball playoffs. March Madness, basketball, too many things for me. I'm just saying for me. I'll be at an XFL thing and baseball around the corner, so I can't. 2 months to baseball. I'm already working on it. So
baseball will be here.
It'll be here. We got some time still. It's only February. But
and one of the good things I found, not to cut you off, Don, but one of the good things I found
I do it all
about XFL is that because it's such a small thing, it's eight teams in this one. They have these websites that give you all the information. You don't have to really go search and find nothing. They give everything in one spot. Yeah. People are giving up all the information.
It ain't the XFL no more. It's a USFL.
No, right? They're bringing back XFL.
Oh, okay. I thought it was just the one.
They changed owners again in XFL. What's his name? The Rock or whatever. He owns it along with somebody else. We'll see how long it lasts. We'll see how long it lasts this time.
Yeah, we see what happened last time, but we'll see what happens this time. You never know, right?
Yeah, you never know.
So the mighty Lakers lost last night, huh? Wham must not be happy. The mighty Lakers lost to a bad team.
I thought they were up. I thought I seen they were up for a while.
They lost at the end. And LeBron's still 35 points away from breaking Kareem's home record or some crap. He's like 35 points away. I hope he breaks his leg so he don't pass it. But
all right. Somebody asked about CFL. I don't do CFL. I tried it. I just not.
All right, Don. You had Pelicans. Good, Don. Don had the Pelicans. Good, brother. Yeah, they did win. They did win in the end. They came up. That's the NBA for you. That's one sport I can't touch NBA. To me, for me, it's just too much. I just don't. I don't like anything about it. I used to love it growing up because the game to me growing up, that game was more like the college game is today. It was team basketball. We all know the NBA is nothing to do with a team game anymore. That's for sure. But I love that you guys have a look on it, and you guys like it, and you guys do well with it, and that's all that really matters. It's just not for me. And I'm a big proponent of leaving out a couple sports during the year because you'll never be good at every sport, and you know how we get into a too much of a routine sometimes betting sports that we just keep on going and going and going. And for me, that's what got me into being a profitable player was stopping to do that. So I cut out a couple of things. It just keeps me more grounded. It keeps me more focused. But like I said, what works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. But yeah, I am impressed when I hear, you guys that could do NBA. I'm impressed because I just always find that such a coin flip. So,
Yeah.
but I know there's been some
Playoffs only
struggles
for
this
me.
year with some guys in the NBA that usually do really well that they've been talking about not doing so great this year. But you know how that goes. That's just part of the game, man. That's part of the game. The volatility is part of the game. It's like getting your aces cracked in poker. It's going to happen.
It's time for me to get out of here because my stomach
All right.
is talking to me.
Don't tell Bobano what, Teeth. Don't tell
About the
Bobano that.
CFL.
How could you tell him anything? He's on 80 shows a day, that guy. So, that guy, you can't do a show unless you got him with you. But he does. But he does. Ian does hit every sport. But listen, his whole life, you got to be at this 24/7 to be to have that much information and But listen, computers these days and spreadsheets and software. There's no way all these guys. I'm not talking about Ian because I think Ian's one of the better cappers out there, and I'm not pointing him out. You mentioned him, but in general, a lot of these guys how did this guy do that? How do these guys put out all these plays every day? How do they have 8 NBA plays? They got 5 NHL plays. They got 6. Because they're using softwares. It might be the software that they built, but they're using models and softwares, and they're making it a lot easier on themselves. And the computer's picking out more picks than not. They might have, they're the ones that might have built it, but that's still, and that's just for me. In my brain, I'm too old, man. My brain ain't like that to have the computers making picks. I got to do it the old-fashioned way. As you see, man, I got fucking papers, notebooks. I still write shit out, man, so. But it is what it is, Everybody, like I said, obviously, that, like I said, more than one way to skin a cat. That's why I like involving the young guys with me, and I like the collaboration, But yeah, Chris, I hear you. Listen, there's a practical thing to this too, But you know how it goes. What's the bullshit, D Mills? Tell us, baby. Tell us. Tease, fuck the spreadsheets and bullshit. Tease doesn't even want to hear a fucking stat, so he's all the way the other way. I'm a little bit in the middle. He's like, I don't even want to hear a stat.
Man, I'm going to get out of here, though, man, because my stomach is killing me. But shout out to Chris Brady. Shout out to Don Clay. Shout out to D Mills. Shout out to Tease. Shout out for everybody showing up, man, on a Sunday with not much to do. Too bad my stomach started telling me it's time to get off the camera. But I'm gonna bank out of here. You got something left? You got something to tell them, Don?
No, we definitely don't want to see any. No, I got nothing else to say, man. You guys have a great day. I did bet Ohio State. I bet LaSalle, and so far those are my 2 bets. So that's what I put in. All right, let's have a good day.
There it is. There. Let's get out of here.
Later.